Good morning. Well, if it's afternoon or if it's in the evening, whenever you tune into this video, I just want to say welcome. Today is an episode on how to parent children with gender fluidity. Now, for me as a mom, I get a lot of questions on how do I support my children with gender fluidity. So, mostly what I do, I'll try to explain it in this episode. Being a foster mom, being a child, caretaker, whether we cancel children, therapy to children. This for me kind of helped me. So hopefully with me sharing some tips and some of my knowledge and what I've experienced with parenting children for over, like I said, the past 30 years. Hopefully just this little segment will help you to parent your child with gender fluidity. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First, gender fluidity is the concept that an individual's gender identity can fluctuate and may not align strictly with binary categories of male or female. For parents, understanding and supporting their child's gender fluidity is crucial in creating an inclusive and affirming environment. Again, you got to create an inclusive and an affirming environment. And I promise, I'm sorry about my voice. As I said, I was out with the children, kind of had a little fun, screaming a little bit at an amusement park, so my voice kind of went away. But you guys are important, so I still had to log on today and get this segment and this video done for you. So take a moment, yes, right now, to consider your gender. Do you identify as a woman, a man, or another gender? Essentially, how would you describe your gender identity? Take a moment, kind of ponder over that. Now, how do you show your gender to other people? Through how you look or act, in other words, your gender expression. And has your gender identity or gender expression changed or stayed the same over time? Questions like these can be especially valuable if you're wondering about how gender identity and expression may shift as children grow up. And of course, these questions may also resonate with many adults. At times in my life, I've had to help my children. Usually, they've had shorter hair, or fondness for men's dress pants or dress shoes. I've also experienced occasionally my children may be playing roles in theater productions and dressing in costumes as a man or on Halloween. At other times in my life, I've experienced where, your child has longer hair and frequently worn dresses or dangling earrings and more feminine Halloween costumes. Although my gender expression, you try to explain that as it, watch your child gender expression shift over time. And I'll kind of explain that a little bit better. I know that was kind of jumbalooted with me swallowing and trying to get that out. So, although gender expressions shift over time between less feminine and more feminine, I've always identified myself as a girl or woman, but your child, as you watch that, may shift from identifying themselves as a girl to identifying themselves as a boy, or vice versa. It may shift from a boy to identifying yourself as a girl. And as I said, with me experiencing that, as I watch, my child shift as they grow up, and, of course, they have questions, and it might resonate with other parents as well when you experience your child asking those type of questions as they grow up to, be woman, man, or man, woman. So hopefully that kind of explained a little bit of what I was trying to explain in watching my children as they gender identity or gender expression change, or some of the children, or if it stayed the same, over time. For some youth, gender fluidity may be a way to explore gender before landing on your more stable gender expression or identity. For others, gender fluidity may continue indefinitely as part of their life experience with their gender. Some people describe themselves as gender fluid as an identity. It typically fits under the transgender and non-binary umbrella, which applies to people whose gender identity doesn't match the sex assigned to them on their original birth certificate. Non-binary means a person's gender identity doesn't fit into the strict cultural categories of male or female. Now, not everyone who experience changes in their gender expression or identity identifies as gender fluid, nor does everyone desire gender affirming medical treatment to change their body to better align with their gender identity. How does gender develop and change? So this was kind of a little bit of me trying to explain, with working with children, how the gender kind of changed, or, how they were able to express themselves, and advising that they wanted to go from, male to female or female to male, or as I explained, just not affirming at all at times. Just depends on your child. So people typically begin developing a gender identity in early childhood, around the age of 2 or 3. Gender identity develops within multiple social contexts: a person's family, the larger community, and the society and historical time in which they live. Each of these may have very different norms and expectations about gender expression and gender identity. For example, a child might live in a family that believes that gender is more complex than a girl and encourages a diversity of gender expressions. That same child may live in a town where most people believe that boys should look like boys and girls should look like girls. And this child might live in a society and at a historical time with similar gender norms as their community. Thus, this child may feel uh, freer to have a different gender expression or identity at home than out in public. For many people, I should say, gender identity and expression develop early and stay the same over time. For others, either one may change. Okay? While such changes can happen at any time during a person's life, they're more common during childhood and adolescence than later in adulthood. How can you support gender fluid youth in your life? Okay? We encourage you to think about gender fluidity as part of diversity of human experience related to gender identity and expression. While acceptance is important in how we treat anyone, it's especially important for children and teens. For me, with working with children over time, it's especially important for children and teens, to have that acceptance, okay? With acceptance is important in how we treat everyone. It's especially important for children and teens. Listen to youth and validate their experience of their gender. Everyone is the expert of their own gender, okay? Be patient as a youth gender fluidity may be part of their gender identity development. Support gender fluid youth in making informed decisions about gender affirming care, such as hormone therapy and gender affirming surgeries, if that's something that you and your child talk about. For me, I've experienced at times where my child has wanted to have the hormone therapy and gender affirmation changes or surgeries. So connect them to support and resources so they can talk to others with similar experiences. And so what I've done, I've connected my child, within the community with other professionals that can talk to my child on a more professional level in regards to gender fluid youth. So that helped out a lot for me. And hopefully that'll help if you guys have that same experience. So, as I advise, connect them to support and resources so they can talk to others with similar experiences. Gender Spectrum is a great resource for both gender fluid youth and adults in their lives. So, hopefully, what I've shared from my experience over the years of experience will help someone else to know how to parent youth with gender fluidity. My name is Cheryl. Thanks for tuning in to the CP family. Until next time, bye.
Everybody say CP family.
CP family!